to Embroidery Happy Hour. For those of you new, hi, I'm Jeanette, Boricua Sewing and Crafts. Welcome to tonight's live. So, what are we going to be talking about tonight? We're going to be talking about the mistakes that you need to avoid when you are out there shopping for an embroidery machine. I get a lot of questions about what machine should I buy, or I even get people that reach out to me and say, I regret this machine so bad. And a lot of times what happens is people make a lot of mistakes when they're going out there and they're purchasing these machines. So I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that you really need to look out for when you are going out there and you're buying these embroidery machines. They cost a lot of money. So this is not the time for you guys to really not buckle down and do your research and really know what you are paying for. So before we get into tonight's topic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention two announcements, okay? First one is tonight is the last day for folks to register for the Christmas gift exchange, okay? So I have the link on the Facebook group. Right now we have about, let me look. I believe we have 26 people that have signed up. Once you sign up, to tomorrow morning, everyone should be paired up and you will know who you're going to be giving a gift to. So all gifts need to be mailed out by December 5th. And on December 19th is where we're going to have our show and tell show. So that way everybody can open up their gifts and show off what they got. Okay. The second announcement that I have before we get into tonight's topic is that I'm going to be hosting the embroidery club at Susie's Quilt Shop in Northern Virginia in Manassas. Okay, so if you guys are in the area and you guys want to join the club, you're more than welcome to stop by. I do it at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning, and it's a lot of fun. So the next time is going to be November 15th, and the topic is going to be all about patches. Okay, so I already have several patches that I have worked on, and I'm going to be sharing with the group how to make patches, why we use patches, and what are my best tricks in doing these things. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and usually we have a big crowd. So if you want to join us, please do on November 15th at 10:38 a.m. Okay, so let's get into tonight's topic, okay? Because I know that a lot of people are probably maybe thinking about buying a machine or, are kind of like on the fence of it. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that when you make this investment, you're really making the best investment you possibly can with as much knowledge as possible. So I wrote down about 10 things that you really need to think about so that you can avoid making a big mistake. Because I don't know if you guys are aware, I sometimes get folks that have bought a machine. Usually it's the Brother SC 1900 or, or even the 6-needle machine, 10-needle machine. I don't get it really with the multi-needle machines, but I get it a lot with the single needle machines. A lot of people come out and say, I bought the machine, took it out of the box, got intimidated, and I put it back in the box. And it's just standing there like a big paperweight. Okay, so we want to avoid that. Okay, we want to make sure that if you're going to go out there and you're going to invest your hard-earned money on these machines, you want to make sure that you take it out of the box, it stays out of the box, and you're actually turning it on and you're actually making really awesome things. Okay, so let's get down to it. Okay, so as you guys that are for the first time know, those that have been with me for quite some time know how I run this embroidery happy hour. The first hour, I like to touch on the topic. After the hour, I like to go through the chat, answer any questions or anything like that. And while I am talking also, if you guys know or can think of something that people need to consider to avoid making a mistake when purchasing these machines, please put it in the comments section, okay? Because you may be thinking of something that I didn't even think about considering as well. So, as I said, I'm not the only one that's like, an expert. I'm just really talking about my personal experience and things that I've seen. But you guys may have seen something else or experienced something else. Okay. So let's get down to it. All right. So the first thing that a lot of people make a mistake is that they don't even understand why they're buying it in the first place. Okay. How they're going to be using it. What is it that they want to do? And that can be very, very problematic for the simple reason that embroidery machines aren't just one type. They come in all different. You have a single needle machine, flatbed, and you also have a multi-needle. And there's so many different aspects to these machines. They have different functionality, they have different hoop sizes. So you really have to know why it is that you're buying this machine. What is the purpose? What is the intention? What do you plan on using it for? That's going to help you to determine really what route to go. First, it's going to let you know up front, should you go for a single needle or should you go for a multi? Okay. Then also, it's going to allow you to do the things that you want to do. Okay. Like, I'll give you an example. If you're just, I have my girlfriend. Okay. I'll give you the example of my girlfriend. Okay. That she loves doing baby onesies and all she does is applique. The only machine that she has used for the very longest time, now she's recently upgraded to a 5x7 hoop, is she had, I think it was the PE 600 or 625, something like that. And it was a 4x4 hoop. The reason why that machine was sufficient for her is because all she wanted to do was embroider baby onesies. She had no intention of doing bags or anything else. That was her niche. That was all she wanted to embroider. She went ahead and she embroidered to a 5x7 because sometimes baby onesies can get a little bit bigger. So she figured instead of using a 4x4 design, I can go ahead and use a 5x7 design. So that's why she upgraded to the 5x7. However, though, when I talk to her and I say, hey, they got all these other embroidery machines and they have bigger hoops, she has no interest whatsoever because it's not going to fit her needs. It's not what she wants to do. It's not what she's interested in doing at all. However, though, if you are on the other side of that coin, okay, and you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, I want to be able to do bags. I want to do backpacks. I want to be able to embroider the back of jackets. I want to be able to do big designs and stuff like that. Then a machine that only has a 5x7 or 4x4 hoop isn't going to fit your needs. You're going to have to look for a machine that has a bigger hoop size. Okay. If you want to do hats, you're going to probably want to do a machine that has the bar, the arm, so that way you can get a hat driver and a hat frame. So it really all depends on what it is that you want to do. You must know that up front because that is really going to determine what type of machine you're going to be looking at. Okay. The other thing that I found is that people choose the wrong machine, okay, for what they intend to use it, because it goes back to what I was just previously saying. If you don't know what it is that you want and why you want it, you're going to choose the wrong machine. Sometimes what happens is people will go ahead and they will buy these big machines with all these needles on it, and in actuality, all they need is 6 needles or 10 needles. I don't know. Me personally, I have never had a need for 20 needles, but there are machines out there. And there might be people out there that actually use all 20 needles on a multi-needle machine. I'm not saying that it's not possible, okay? But I'm saying for me and for what I do, 10 is good enough, okay? Maybe 15 would be better, but 10 works just fine for me. So the thing is, you really got to make sure that you have a very good understanding of how you're going to use it, so that way you can choose the proper machine. What ends up happening, and this is something that I see a lot, is that people just pick something because they see that everybody else under the sun, or a group that they're following, or people that they know, went and bought this particular machine, and because these people bought it, or maybe that's the advertisement that they see or anything like that, then they go ahead and then they buy the machine. But then what ends up happening is you're going to end up in trouble, because what happens is you bought a machine and you didn't think about you when you bought that machine. It's kind of like going into a car dealership. And the reason why I like to make the comparison of an embroidery machine with a car is because of the cost. Embroidery machines can cost at the same like buying a car. So you don't go into a dealership and just say, I'll take that car, right? You don't just go pick it out. You want to look at the options of that car. You want to test drive that car, and there's so many things to take in consideration. It's a personal choice, okay? There's so many different makes and models of cars out there. And it's the same way with an embroidery machine. A lot of different makes and models that are out there as well. So you need to make sure that when you are choosing an embroidery machine, you got that good understanding of what it is that you're planning on doing with the machine. And I'm not just talking about what you're planning on doing with it today. Think about how you're planning on growing with that machine, okay? So that you can pick a machine that's actually going to grow with you. I'll give you an example of that, okay? Let's say that you just want an embroidery machine, and you come out and you say, okay, well, I'm just gonna, buy a flatbed, and I'm gonna get a 5x7. And then what ends up happening is later on down the line, you decide I want to embroider the back of jean jackets, right? But what ends up happening is you're gonna find out that you're limited on the side of the hoop, okay? And if you had gotten a bigger machine that had a bigger hoop, you could have embroidered that jean jacket with bigger designs, right? So because, of that, you're kind of limited, right? You can go ahead and you can get a repositional hoop, but a lot of times it's a lot easier when you just have the design fitting in one hoop and stuff. You want to pick a machine that's going to make your life easier and not harder, okay? The other thing, let's talk about number 3. Looks like I'm going a little fast here, right? But I think you guys are getting it, okay? If you're not, put it in the chat. I'll catch it, all right? The other thing, number 3, is underestimating the learning curve. A lot of times what happens is people have this perception that embroidery machines are very easy to use. They can be, and they can also be difficult to learn as well, okay? So it was easy for me, okay? But for some other people, it may not have been, okay? So it can get kind of confusing. You really have to learn that machine. And a lot of times people think that when they come home with that machine, they just plug it in, they turn it on, and everything is automatic. And that's so far from the truth. You have to really understand that machine, and you're going to have to take the time to actually learn it as well. So don't just go and get whatever machine is out there. You have to test drive them, okay? You have to look at the machines, understand what they offer, the different types of functionality, look at the different hoop sizes, look at how the quality of the embroidery, okay? Just because it's an embroidery machine doesn't mean that it's going to embroider flawlessly, okay? Machines do have different types of quality. How did they handle the test? What kind of thread? Is the arm big? Is it small, slim? How does it work on hats? You got to test it out, so you can't just go and just buy anything. And the thing is, that is like, the same thing like what I was saying really earlier on, how people come out and then they say, hey, I bought a machine and, I took it out of the box and now I got intimidated and I put it right back in the box. Well, if a small flatbed embroidery machine is going to be intimidating to you, a multi-needle machine is going to be intimidating as well, okay? Because there is a learning curve. A lot of people make that assumption that there really isn't, okay? They're thinking, oh, I'm just going to get training and I'm going to learn it like that. A lot of times that doesn't happen. when you get a new machine, there is so much to learn, right? It's all this information. It's getting dumped on you. Even if they offer you training, it's getting dumped, okay? You're not going to remember everything. A lot of times you learn through experience. So you're going to make a lot of mistakes with that machine. You're going to have to really learn it, and it's going to take time. And that's one thing that a lot of times people kind of have that problem with. They think there's going to be such a quick learn. And then when they turn on that machine and, they can't do something as simple as changing the needle, okay? Because all machines are different, right? Some have the flat shank, some have the round, and you have to know how to properly change your needles for the needle threader to work. And sometimes they don't understand how the needle threader works, and they don't know how to maintain it and stuff like that. There is just so much to learn, and it's going to take time. So people always underestimate that, and it becomes very frustrating. So you just got to make sure that you have that in the back of your mind. So when you're looking at all these machines, and there's a lot of brands out there, what you want to do is you want to try to get an understanding of what's involved in operating that machine. If you find that it is confusing as hell, okay, to you to even understand how to change the needle or something like that, that machine might not be for you. Look at another one and see if there's a machine out there that is more simpler, more user-friendly for you. Not everyone learns the same way. Okay, like me personally, I'm a visual learner, which is why sometimes when I'm doing embroidery projects, I hate those in the hoops because there's a lot of reading involved and stuff like that. But if someone was to actually show me, if I had like a video and I saw that, then I'm golden, right? So everyone learns different. Everyone maintains information in a different way. So that's why it's really important for you to make sure that you find that right match for you, okay? Don't just follow what other people are using, okay? There's so many different brands out there. So you got to make sure that you're getting a machine that's going to fit you, just you, because this is all about you, okay? So it's because when, at the end of the day, when you're in that room, the only two are the machine and you, not the whole everybody else. So just make sure you think about that. The other thing also that I find that a lot of people make a mistake on is when they are reviewing the reviews of certain machines. You have to, when you read these reviews, right? Think of this, okay? Every car that you drive has its good and its bad. Some people love them, some people hate them. It's the same thing with embroidery machines. Sometimes you will come across people that will have nothing but great things to say about a particular brand. And then for that same brand, you're going to also find a group of people that are going to say something negative about that brand. Now, I'm not saying that you have to believe everything that you hear out there, but what I am saying is do take it in and try to peel that onion, okay? Sometimes what happens is that people will say something bad about a machine because in actuality, they didn't understand how the machine worked. Okay. Because you will also find other people that use that same brand or that same model and it works great for them, but it just didn't work good for that particular person. Okay. To me, what is really important and when I'm reading reviews is I'm looking for someone who is giving me an opinion on the machine that they've had for more than 5 years. Now, I know what you're probably thinking is why is that important? Why is that 5-year mark important to me? It's because of the longevity of the person that had that machine, okay? Now, when you go and you buy a car and you pick it up and you drive it off the lot, okay, the presumption is that that car isn't going to die on you on the highway on your way home. Everything works great, right? I mean, the oil's been changed, you got new tires, everything. Same thing with an embroidery machine. Right out the box, supposedly, everything is supposed to work great. It's going to work like a charm, okay? However, though, as with a car, embroidery machine needs maintenance, okay? And there's going to be times when someone who's using a machine might break something or need help with some assistance on that machine on how to work it or something like that, right? So what you want to do is you want to ask the question as, how was the support that you received when you asked for it after owning the machine for 5 years? I'm going to tell you something right now. If you have ever walked into a car dealership, you know how, and I don't mean to pick on anybody. If you guys are out there and you sell cars, my hat's off to you, okay? But and let's get off the cars, okay? Let's say a clothing store or whatever, right? You're going into a shop, you're going to buy something, right? The salesperson is going to tell you that it is the greatest thing on earth, okay? It's not going to describe to you about anything bad that's with the machine. They're not going to tell you, we're not going to help you in 3 years. And they're also not going to probably tell you that, well, after you've had the machine for a year, and if you need assistance, it's going to cost you about $75 an hour for us to help you. They're not going to disclose a lot of that stuff, okay? They always tell you the good stuff, right? That's what comes out of their mouths, right? You know why? Because they need to make that sale, okay? So, you got to be conscientious of that and understand that when you are talking with some of these folks, they're trying to sell you something, so they're going to make it sound all great. But what you have to do is you have to peel that onion and you have to ask yourself, is that the right machine for me? Is that something that's going to work for what I needed to do? Is it something that I'm going to truly understand how to work? Does it have all the functionality that I need? And when I do the needle threader breaks, okay, let's say one of the the arms, the little needle thing that goes down. God, I don't know what you call that, but anyway, let's say something happened to it. It hit one of the side of your hoops, and now the whole machine's miscalibrated and stuff. And you need to get it recalibrated and stuff. Let's say that something happened to it, right? How are you going to fix it? Are they going to help you? And if they're going to help you, how much is it going to cost? And this is the thing too. You got to remember, when you're new, right? You're new to the family. Everybody loves you. Everybody's smiling at you. You're the greatest thing, right? Well, what happens when you're no longer the new person in the group? Okay, let's say you've been now 5 years later. You had the machine. It works great, and then 5 years later, something happened. You went, oop! I gotta call them up and see what they can do to help me. Are they going to help you? And if they're going to help you, what are the rules of the game, right? Are they going to charge you for the help, or how's that going to work, right? So you need to understand that, all right? So make sure that, you are getting all that information up front. The other thing that I see people do is they just look at one machine and that's it. And a lot of times it's like I said before, they just looked at that one machine because they heard of something or saw somebody or something. It's just, that's what they're using, so I want to use that too. No, what are you doing? Okay, so you got to make sure you understand why you got it, and you got to understand the support, all right? For some people too, that is really key. It's key for me. I know that because I run these machines a lot. Okay. These things are almost on every day, and they're on for a lot of hours. Okay. Because especially when I'm working on these bulk orders, they are on the go. They're workhorses. Okay. So I need to have that support. I need to make sure there's somebody close by that can help me fix them and stuff like that. So you got to make sure that you got that. You know what I'm saying? So don't just look at one machine. Look at several machines. Ask the questions about what the differences of these machines are, okay? What is the functionality that these machines are offering? Is it a functionality that you need and are going to require in the future, okay? So always ask that, okay? Now, the next thing, let's talk about the money. Machines come in different sizes, with different functionalities, and they also come different price tags. But the thing is that a lot of people make the mistake about, they say, oh, okay, the machine, let's say, you know, that the machine was 5,000, and that's really on a low end for a multi-needle machine. Okay, let's say it's 5,000. And people make the assumption that that's it. I paid 5,000, got my machine, I'm good to go. No, you're going to need extras. Trust me, you're going to need extras. Just like when you're into quilting and stuff, you think, oh, I'm going to quilt. I'm just going to take 2 pieces of fabric, sew it together. Well, as time goes on, you start learning that there's a ruler for everything. Okay. And next thing you know, you don't just have one ruler, you got like 15, 20 rulers in your house. Binding, batting, and all that kind of stuff. With embroidery is the same way. Okay, you're going to have to need some extras. All right. The machine comes usually with a set of hoops, but what you're going to find during time is that they have other hoops out there that are better and more efficient. I personally use Mighty hoops. I love them. Okay, they're magnetic hoops for the multi-needle machines. I like them because they are faster for me to use when I need to hoop. And when I have a bulk order of like 100 to 50 items, I don't have time to spend 20 minutes trying to hoop something correctly. So the old hoops is not going to work for me. I have to use something that's really going to maintain my pace so that I can get these orders done. So I have to, I rely a lot on my Mighty hoops and the hooping station and all that stuff. There's a lot of extras, and it's not just the Mighty hoops. I use fast frames. I use Dookie frames. I use hat frames. There are extras. So another thing too that people don't think about is when you get a embroidery machine, especially if you get a multi-needle, a stand. Where are you going to put that sucker? Okay, are you going to put it on a coffee table? Are you going to put it in your living room? Are you going to have a designated space for it? If so, are you going to put it? You may want to put it on a stand, like as you can see right here. I have a stand on each of all my machines have this stand. Okay. And I love it because I put my stabilizer. As you can see, I have my hoops. My hoops are right there hanging. So when I need to hoop something, I can easily just go snag it, grab it, and just go ahead and go to the station right here and then hoop my item and stuff like that. And then I also have my stabilizers in there and all that good stuff. So, you're gonna be spending extra. So a lot of times people think, oh, I just spent money on the machine. Well, no, you're going to be spending money on a lot more than that. Okay. Now, that's multi-needle. Let's talk about your flatbed embroidery machines. Okay. Those cost a lot of money too. So don't think that a flatbed, you look at those machines and you think, oh, they're much cheaper than a multi-needle. Well, no, an Avenir. Okay. If you don't know, that's like the latest in the Brothers brand. The Avenir, that machine runs between $20,000 to $25,000. Okay, so we're talking big bucks. That's why I always compare embroidery machines with cars, because we're talking thousands. We're not talking something that is chump change. We're not talking chump change at all here. Okay, we're talking big money. So these, that Avenir is a huge machine. It is. It's really, really huge. You're gonna need a table for it. All right, so you're gonna have to make sure that you have the space for it if you were to buy it. So a lot of times people think, oh, it's just the machine. No, it's not just the machine. Okay, you got to think about the accessories that come that not just come with the machine, but that you may want to add to it. Okay, that's an extra expense. Okay, so think about that. All right, that's a big mistake that a lot of people always make. They just think they buy the machine, they're good, but then I'm like, no, there's other expenses that are involved. Okay, now since we're talking about expenses that are involved, let's talk about something that a lot of people don't do that honestly, you guys really should be doing this. I'm telling you, if you're not, you need to start considering this, okay? The maintenance of these machines, okay? If you do your self maintenance on your machine, good for you. You're saving a lot of money on that, okay? I don't. I actually have a professional come and work on all my machines, okay? First of all, there's several reasons why I do that. I don't really have the time. I really, really don't. I got to pump out my orders. Okay. So the day that the gentleman comes, the Justin comes and he works on all my machines, he works on all 7. Okay. And that's a lot of machines. So he actually gets here early in the morning and he's here the whole day. But so I consider that day that he's maintaining my machine as an official like day off for me, right? I just had to hang around and let him know which baby he's working on, what issues I've had with that baby, if any. Okay. I keep a journal. So in my journal, which I have right here, I have this little book right here and I keep it right in the room. And what I do is every time I run into a snag with a machine, I have it in my diary. Okay. And that way, when my Justin comes, all I do is give him the book. He goes through the book. He sees what machine, okay, because I have them all numbered and named. So he knows what machine had what problem, when it occurred, and if and he could see if it occurred again. I strongly recommend that folks do that with their machines, especially if you have more than one. And the reason why is because let's say that I usually get my machines done by the end of the calendar year. Let's say that I had an issue with the machine in March, okay? And since then, it started working great. No issues since then. But the thing is, I'm going to forget about what happened in March by the time Justin shows up here in November, in December. I'm not going to remember anything, right? So I'd rather have it written down because he can look at it as, okay, maybe that was a fluke. Or he could say, oh, you know what? Let's check this because this could be causing that. And if we don't fix that now, even though it may not have reoccurred, it can occur again in the future. And the last thing I want is for me to be working on a bulk order and I have a machine down because that is going to cost me a lot of time, and time is money. Okay. So, you have to make sure that you maintain your machines. Okay. Make sure you oil them. I oil them all the time. And when I oil them before I even turn them on. It's like I take out my oiling pen. Okay. I have like an oily pen. As you can see, I got it's a little low, but because I oil it a lot. Okay. But I have lots of these and I oil it every morning. This is the first thing. As soon as I walk in, it's the first thing I grab. And then after I grab this, I go turn on. I turn them all on. And then I take out their bobbins and then I oil them and I change their needles on a weekly basis. Okay. A lot of times people don't change their needles. And the next thing you know, they want to know why their embroidery looks like crap. Well, it's because you're embroidering with a dull needle. Okay. So you guys have to realize that maintenance is so important. So keeping maintenance in mind, okay? You're going out there, you're looking to buy a new embroidery machine. Those are questions you need to be asking. Do I do self-maintenance? Okay, if I do the self-maintenance, will the vendor of this machine teach you what it is that you need to do to make sure that that machine is properly maintained? Okay, if it's not something that you can do yourself, how would you go about getting it maintained? Okay, do you have to bring it in? Do they have technicians that'll show up at your house? Is it easy for you to find someone around your area that works with that machine? Not all technicians work on all brands. Okay. Some technicians prefer to just work on one or two brands. Then you have some that, they won't touch other types of machines and stuff like that. So you just got to make sure that you're going to be able to not just work on that machine and know how that machine functions, but also how to maintain it as well. Remember, that machine has an end of life cycle too. Okay. Just like, your car, you want to drive the car till the wheels fall off. Okay. That's how I drive mine. I'm going to run these embroidery machines until my technician says, Jeanette, let it go. We got to put it to rest. It's time for you to invest in a new one. Okay. It has done its last stitch. It's not going to go anymore. Okay. So you want to be able to really, get the best out of your investment. We're not talking about machines that are low dollar. Okay. All these machines cost money, and it's serious money. All right. So it's like you do not want to buy something and then later on you find out that you are unable to get the support that you need. You're unable to maintain it, because you best believe that machine is going to break down. It's going to break down. It's a machine. Okay. Nothing lasts forever. All right. But you want to make the best of its life. So you want to make sure that you can maintain that machine. All right. Now, the other thing that I find, people just don't get is that they think, oh, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to buy this embroidery machine and I'm going to make a profit overnight. Does it work like that, guys? It really doesn't. Okay. You're going to have to spend some time learning the machine. You're going to have to build your clientele and all that kind of stuff. And, that's how you're going to eventually make money. And a lot of businesses, when they first start off, you're always going to be losing money in the beginning, because you're going to be taking whatever profits you have and it's going to be reinvested in your business. So a lot of times people say, oh, I'm going to buy this machine and money's going to fall out of the sky. No, it doesn't happen that way. Okay. The machines, my machines did eventually, they paid for themselves. However, though, you got to understand, I have been doing embroidery for 7-8 years now, something like that, for quite some time. Let's see. Yeah, 7-8 years I've been doing this. So, and I am making good money and all that kind of stuff. But let me tell you, the first 3 years, I really wasn't, because a lot of the money that I was making, either paid for the machines or were actually paying for brand new hoops, supplies, threads, stabilizers, and all that stuff. Now, the profits that I make still have to pay for those things. But the thing is, I do see more of a profit now. But it's not something that happens overnight, guys. So it's something that you really need to consider. Okay. The other thing that I find that people make a mistake is that they buy things without seeing it or feeling it or anything. You wouldn't just go and just pick out any car and not even test drive it. Okay. You want to see it. I mean, to me, that's important. Okay. I have gone to several embroidery companies' site and tested out their machines. Okay. They will let you do that. Okay. You can call them up and you can ask them, where can I see that machine in action? Okay. This is where I live. Where can I go see it? A lot of times these companies do have something where you can or place, or they can tell you of a customer that doesn't mind showing you the machine or something like that. You want to be able to see it. You want to be able to see it stitch out, okay? Especially if you're buying a used machine, guys. There are several people out there that what they do is they don't want a new machine. They want a used machine, which hey, there's a lot of people out there. If you go on Facebook Marketplace, that they have fit in the category where they have bought a machine and they regret it because they don't understand it, they don't like it anymore, or whatever, right? So it's like they're trying to get rid of all these embroidery machines. One of the things that I tell people is when you go to buy an embroidery machine, new or used, okay, make sure that you know what you're buying. Okay. Make sure that you're talking to them and you are seeing the machine with your own eyes. Okay. You're standing in front of it. You actually see it stitch out so you can see what quality of stitches it has. Ask about the functionality, and ask the hard questions. Why should I buy this machine? Why is it that you think your machine is so special? And I even go a little further and ask them and say, you've had this machine for quite some time. Can you tell me of something that you don't like about the machine that you wish that it had, that it doesn't do? I mean, can you tell me about it and stuff like that? Or, don't just ask for the good, ask for the bad too. Ask for the bad too, and ask if they're honest about it. The other thing also is the research is so important when it comes to the machines, okay? Because there's so many different ones out there, all right? And, I have a lot of friends that do embroidery, other embroiderers that I have met. And they each, we each have our own different brand. A lot of my friends don't use what I use. They have their own, and they're happy with their machines. They enjoy their machines. They understand them. They know how it works, and it works well for them. So the thing is, you just really have to do the research. One of the things that I tell people is make a spreadsheet. Make a spreadsheet listing all the embroidery machines that you're interested in doing. List what is important to you. The quality of the stitch, hat frames, the speed, how many needles, the support, what about the warranty? Write it all down. I'm telling you, this to me is really the best way to do it, is to create a spreadsheet, list all the brands. I have in brand 1, brand 2, brand 3, brand 4. And then on the other side, what it is that's important to you, okay? And then what you do is go to each of these companies and mark off, do they meet the expectations of that stuff? Do a comparison of each machine, okay? Is being able to scan important to you? Or having a camera or having a laser pointer important to you? Which machines have the laser pointer that you want? Which ones don't? You can write it down on that spreadsheet, and you can write down your notes, because the thing is, I tell people this is a big purchase. This is not the time for you to get lazy. If you don't have the time, or you don't feel that you want to do the research, honestly, you shouldn't be buying an embroidery machine, because you're going to be wasting your money. You're going to end up frustrated, all right? I've even had people that have bought multi-needle machines reach out pissed off because they don't understand the machine. And because they don't understand the machine, they're like, I got a lemon, or this machine is crap, and this and that, whatever. But then on the other side, I know people that have the same machine, the same brand, and they love it. They work on all their orders on that machine. They wouldn't buy anything else. They're like, oh, I like this brand. It works for me. I'm sticking to it. But then I have the other side where they're like, this is crap and I can't get rid of it. I can't do nothing, and it's all because they didn't take the time. They didn't take the time to really learn what is out there and what is going to be the best one for them, okay? The worst thing you can do is just not do the research and buy the right machine that is for you. Just because a certain brand is right for person A and that brand works for them, that doesn't mean it's for you, that you have to buy. That is one of the reasons, honestly, too, why I choose not to affiliate myself with any of the brands of embroidery machines. I honestly believe that, all, you have to buy what's right for you. That's my belief. Okay, so a lot of times people ask me, what do you use? I will tell you what I use, but at the same time, I'm going to tell you that doesn't mean it's for you. Okay, I'm going to tell people that all the time, because there's so many different functionalities. They have different, different things, different machines do different things a different way. So your learning curve might be different from mine. You may not have the support near you where I have it near me. There's just so many different things. So I do not believe in pushing any type of brand of embroidery machine to anyone. I prefer to teach people about techniques of embroidery and stuff like that, and embroidery projects and everything. I just don't like to do the name dropping of machines, because I have people that, a lot of my embroidery friends, they all have different ones, like for instance, the crafty Puerto Rican, she has her Racoma. Liliana loves her Happy. And then I have another one that has a Melco. I use Brother. And I have a whole bunch of other friends that use a whole bunch of, different ones. I think Ozzy uses, I think it's SWF. I think it's his machine. There's just so many. There's just so many different ones. Okay. I've had some friends also that use the new Poland that came out, and stuff. So there's so many different things. Okay. So like I said, make sure that you look at these machines, make sure that you understand the functionality that they offer, and make sure that it's a functionality that you want and need. Okay. Don't overbuy either. Okay, that's another mistake I see people do. They go and they say, I bought this machine because it's got all the bells and whistles. And then guess what? Then what happens is you don't even use any of them. You don't use any of that functionality. You got it, but you don't use it because you didn't need it. Okay, and you're not, and for what you want to do, you're not going to need it in the future. So you spent all this money on this extra stuff that you didn't need. You could have used that money on more stabilizer, more fabric, more threads. That's another thing. It's a mistake I see a lot of people do and stuff, which is why I say hats off to my girlfriend, who all she does is baby ones. I'm telling you, she's been doing them for years. And that's all she does. And all she wants is her 5x7 hoop. And it took her a long time to upgrade to a 5x7. Let me tell you, because she's been on that 4x4 machine for years. And I was like, you sure you don't want a 5x7? And then she finally did get one. But you know what? Who she really pulls out all the time? The 4x4. Very rare does she pull out the 5x7. And the only reason why she got the 5x7, is because she found the SC1900 on Marketplace. Somebody was selling it for $600. And she was like, that's a really good deal. So what she does is now she didn't get rid of her old machine. She still uses the old machine and the SC1900. So now she does like 2 onesies at one time. So don't overbuy either. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said in the very beginning, I was telling you guys how important it is to know what it is that you really want to do, because you can fall into the trap of overbuying. Okay. Why buy a machine with 20 needles if all you really need is 6? There's a lot of people. I have a 6 needle embroidery machine. I got my 670E. And that's a 6 needle, and it works great. I still use it today. Still use it today, because sometimes my designs don't have more than 6 colors. So, and when I'm working on logos and stuff like that, a lot of times when I work with these business owners, their logos are simple. Very seldom do I have a design that goes past 6 colors, honestly, because a lot of times, a lot of business owners just have small, it's 3 inches. Of course, their logo's 3 inches, but a lot of times it's more like, I don't know, 3, 4 colors, sometimes 5. Okay. So when I'm working on embroidery, their polo shirts and stuff like that, I still use my 6 needle machine. It rocks. It works just as good as the 10 needles that I have. So, it really depends on what it is that you want and what you need. If I remember correctly, I think Bob, who's part of our group and everything, he has a 6 needle machine. If I remember correctly, I think he now owns two 6 needle machines because he really doesn't need a 10 needle, because his specialty is patches. He loves to do patches. And, every time I look at his patches, I think the max colors on his patches is maybe 2 or 3 colors. So for him to get a machine that has like 20 needles and stuff, that's like overbuying. What are you doing then? It's like what are you going to use all that extra stuff for? So you really have to understand what it is that your needs are even before you start looking at machines. Jot that down and be honest. Okay. Don't be dishonest. Be honest. Okay. And then look at your budget and stuff. And, and know that when you are purchasing this machine, there's accessories, there's other things you're going to want to buy with it. Okay. Because, just having the machine is not going to be enough. You're probably going to need a stand. You're probably going to buy additional hoops and stuff like that. And there's lots of different hoops. Hoops are for different things, right? And you want to ask also, when you're looking at all these machines and stuff, when you're pricing them out, okay, ask the question, what am I actually getting? Okay. When I open that box, what's going to be in there? Okay. Am I just going to get a machine, or are you going to also provide me a hat driver and a hat hoop, the hat driver and the hoop? Are you going to provide any extras and stuff like that? Make sure that when you have that spreadsheet and stuff, you are jotting down, because you're going to use that sheet so that you can stand back, look at it, and then you're going to ask yourself, okay, which one is really going to meet my needs? Which one is offering me the best deal? Which is the one that really, the reputation stood out, okay? Because I know I'm getting a high quality machine, okay? And that's the other thing too. You got to be careful too, because every machine says it's quality, all right? Which is why I say, when you're looking at these machines, don't, talk to people that own them for more than 5 years. Okay. Seriously, because that's going to tell you if this is a good quality machine or not. All right. Do research also. Go to the Better Business Bureau. Okay. Go to their website, look up the company and see, are there complaints against this company? Okay. Go to the Facebook groups. Join the Facebook groups. Even if you don't own the machine, join the groups. Okay. And you don't have to post anything, but read what people are posting about those machines. Is there a lot of negativity? Is there a lot of good things that they're saying, that they're, is the support there? Because maybe you can't get support very locally to where you're at, but is there places on the internet where you can get the support that you need in order for you to run these machines effectively? So, you got to make sure that you do all this, all right? Because that's what ends up happening. A lot of times people don't. And then next thing you know, you end up with a big machine that you paid a lot of money for, and it ain't working for you. It just ain't working for you. Okay. So, you got to make sure that, you just don't make these mistakes. Okay. You want to make sure that, when you are spending your money, you're spending it wisely. You are making a solid decision. Okay. And it's a decision that's really going to help you in your embroidery journey and stuff. So, honestly, guys, the worst thing you can do, and I tell this to people all the time, is the rush decision. Never, ever rush. When you're talking big bucks, never rush. And you know what I always say too? I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. You know, when you're trying to do your research and you're talking to the salesperson, and this is the one line that you will always lose me in. When you tell me, well, if you buy it today, I'll knock off another $200 or something like that. They'll tell you something like that. It's like, no, you are not going to push me to buy anything, especially to get my hard-earned money. Okay. Stay away from those types of tactics and stuff. You know, this is your money. You worked really hard for it. Okay. It doesn't fall out of the sky. You know, I know that people talk about that little saying about the money tree. Well, let me tell you, where I live, there's a lot of trees. I never see a dollar bill grow out of any of them. Okay. I see a lot of leaves, but I don't see no dollars. So there is no such thing as a money tree out there. Okay. Sorry to burst the bubble. And everybody's working hard for their money. All right. So the last thing you want to do is give it away too quickly without really giving it some thought. Serious, guys. Okay. Because, you know, you just don't want to do that. You really, really don't. It took me a long time to get the machines that I use. And believe me, research went into it. These were the machines that I wanted for myself. It works for me. And I have absolutely no regrets on what I chose. And I actually decided to stay with the brand, okay, because it works for me. You know, and I have several of them. So, you know, it works, you know, for me. Okay. I just want to emphasize that because I don't want nobody thinking that I'm pushing anything. I'm not. What I am pushing is for people to open up their eyes and actually do what you're supposed to do so that when you go and you get that machine, you got what you needed and you got what's going to work for you. Like I said, everyone learns differently. You know, there's a lot of different cars out there. Okay. You got Toyota, you got Tesla, you know, you got electric, you got gas. Okay. Then you got the different brands. You got Toyota, you got Honda, you got Tesla, you got Chrysler, you know, you got Ford, you got all these different ones, right? No, you know, but if you ask people why you drive what you drive, it's because it was for their personal preference. Okay. You know, so do it the same way with an embroidery machine. Do your research, get it because it's something that you wanted that was going to work for you. That way, you know, for sure, after you spent all that money, there's no regrets. Absolutely no regrets. You know what you bought, why you bought it, and it works. You know, it's not an easy decision. It really isn't. And I know some people get frustrated because sometimes people actually have reached out to me and said, what machine should I buy? And then they get mad at me because I tell them, I'm not telling you what to buy. I can tell you what things you should consider. Okay. And they don't like those answers because everybody wants you to just say, buy this. But no, it doesn't work that way. Now, for everyone, everybody has different needs. I'm not you. And so you're going to have to do that. And I feel the same exact way when people ask me about embroidery software. Okay. I know what I like and I know what I use, right? But there are so many different other ones out there. And I'm very honest. I actually use Embrilliance because I'm a Mac girl. And I could not find another piece of embroidery software that would work on my Mac. Thankfully, okay, I like Embrilliance. I found it user-friendly for me. And I found a lot of videos online on how to use the program and stuff. So it works for me. There are different ones out there. So even though I tell people, you know, I like Embrilliance, I like to use that. I do also sometimes mention there are other ones out there like So What Pro, Hatch. I think Brother has Design E, something like that. And I don't use the Brother, software, even though I use their machines, but I don't use their software. I actually use Embrilliance and stuff because I actually like it. I like the way it works. It works for me. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, But guys, that is what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. It is 9 o'clock and I am really sticking to my schedule. I'm telling you, I'm really sticking to my schedule. So I am going to go down the chat. I want to say hi to everybody. And if you guys think that there is another thing that people need to consider to make sure that when they are spending their money, they're not like, because that's the thing. That's the worst thing. Like you spent all this money on this machine and then all of a sudden you take it home and you can't do nothing with it. Oh my God, that would piss me off. I would be mad out. You have no idea. I would be like, oh, this ain't right. You know what I mean? I would be pissed off because we're talking thousands. Okay. We're not talking about, going to the store and spending $20. And a lot of times people save for a long time just to treat themselves to get an embroidery machine. So the last thing you want to do is to save all this money and then buy your machine. And then all of a sudden it's a big regret, So, I hope that what I share is something that, you guys can consider. There's a lot of machines out there. There's always new models that are coming out too. That's one thing that I noticed too. You buy an embroidery machine and then next year they come up with a newer model. So you got to make sure that what you're getting is what you're going to need and you're going to understand and you're going to love. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you something. It's like an iPhone. Okay. You buy an iPhone and then next year there's another one. And then there's another one. There's another one. No, what I do is I will buy my machine. It works for what I need. Okay. And it's working fine. And I am sticking to it. So like I said, when the technician tells me, hun, that machine, you got to let it go. All right. It's not going to work anymore for you. That's when you'll see me buy a new machine. Okay. Even though I'm looking for a fourth machine because I need another machine because my orders are getting bigger. So now I am hunting for another Brother 1055X because I don't want to get the new one, the new model that came out. I actually like the model that I have. And actually kind of really disappointed in a way because I feel like the new, the last machine that I bought, oh my God, I got it with the station, the hoop, the stand. I got it with a wide hat driver. I got it with Dookie frames. I got it with the flatbed. It came with so much. I was like, wow. And then now I look at what they're offering with the new machine and I'm like, that's not a good deal. I didn't find that was a good deal. I was like, But like I said, everything's going up but the check. So knowing that everything's going up but the check, if you're going to spend some money, make sure you spend it right. Okay. That's not the time to be regretting, especially today. Okay. Because everything's going up. All right. So, all right. So I'm going to go over to the chat and say hi to some of you guys. Hey, Claretta, how are you doing? Hi. Hey, Cynthia, how are you? Happy Friday. Hey, Ernestine, how you doing, my girl? Hey, Deidre, how you doing? Hey, Cynthia. Yes, happy Halloween, everybody. Totally forgot. Yep, today's Halloween. Well, I did know it was Halloween. No, Mello is not dressed up either. He is right here. Look at that. He must have heard me say something about him. Look at him peeking his little thing over there. And as always, as you guys can see, laying down in front of the embroidery machines. Does that all the time. Ain't that right, Mello? Did you just wink at me? Did you just do a wink? He knows. So he's always in front of the embroidery machines. And then I always have to kick him out so that I can do my orders and stuff. But you can stay there for now. You're fine. Oh, okay. I see. See? I guess he's not moving. You're not moving, huh? He's ignoring me. Okay. All right. That's fine. Okay. So, hey, Robin, how you doing? How are you? Cynthia, I was told I can use dental floss to clean the tensions on my machine. Is that safe? Yes, I do. I okay. You can use dental floss, but get the one that is not waxed, Cynthia. To clean the tensions on your machine, not the ones that are waxed. You have to get unwaxed dental floss. I use dental floss to clean my tensions on my machine, but I recommend do not use the one that's waxed because that has that you don't want that wax to be in your tension discs. All right, so make sure it's unwaxed. Okay, don't use the other one because then you can mess it up. Okay, but I've done it. I have done it. I actually I did a video on maintaining your SC1900, and I actually showed how I use the dental floss on my tension discs on that machine. And I remember I emphasized on that video, unwaxed. You don't want the wax one. Hey Jackie, how are you? Hey Lewis, unwaxed yet. Thank you, Lewis. Yes, unwaxed. Well, Lewis put untaxed, but it's unwaxed. Hey Christian, how you doing? Hey Renee, I see Renee's in the house. Hey Bernardino, how are you? Hey Iris, happy Friday. There you go. He fixed it. It's unwaxed. I see Darlene is here. Hey Evelyn, how are you? Hey Pearl, and I see Marlene is here as well. Nevelyn's here. How you doing? Hey Beth, Betty, how are you? Eartha is here. Crafty Puerto Rican's here too. Hey Jenny. Miss Miller's in the house from Ohio. And this is what Darlene's saying. Buy the machine with the biggest hoop you can afford. Hoop envy is real. That is true. But like I said with my girlfriend, you got to get what you need. But I agree in a way with Miss Johnson. I'm going to tell you why. Especially for those that are really new in embroidery. What happens is you're just getting your feet wet, right? And, next thing you know, you're going to notice that some designs out there, like if you want to do in the hoop and all that kind of stuff, like I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm working on a quilt library, and this is one of them. And this is a 7x7 embroidery design. Okay. So I was able to do this on my 8x9 hoop. Now, if I got a little machine like some 4x7 or something like that, I would not be able to do this because it's too big and stuff. So like Miss Johnson is saying, if this is something that you want to do, right? You want to be able to do bigger designs and stuff like that. I totally agree with her. Whatever you can afford, the biggest hoop possible, that is really where you should go. Okay. I would recommend that, but I only recommend it if this is really truly what you want to do. Okay. If you're not sure about if embroidery is for you, then what I kind of recommend that you do before you get into it is see if you can borrow somebody's embroidery machine. Maybe if you go to, I know like where I live, there's a public library here, and they have an embroidery machine that people can use. You can go over there and you can use it. So what I would do is reach out to your public library, see if they have like a crafting space. Sometimes what people do is they'll donate embroidery machines, and then you can go there and try those machines out. If this is something that's new to you and you're not sure if this is what you want to do, that way you could get a feel for it. If you get that machine and you got a 4x4 hoop, and then you're like, I really am feeling this and stuff, then yes, because the thing is, you don't want to go ahead and spend all this money on a machine with a big hoop and then all of a sudden you don't like it. you don't like it, it's not what you want to do, you're not your thing, or you had like this fever and then all of a sudden you're like, it's too much work, I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? And then you spend all this money. But, you can always take the machine, you can sell it, or buy a used one, something that's, and stuff. But yeah, but I kind of agree with her about making sure that you really pay attention to those hoop sizes, because that's going to help determine what type of items it is that you want to do. Very, something to think about and stuff. Hey Iris, how you doing? And here's Roxanne. I literally bought a 10 needle PF embroidery machine off Marketplace this afternoon. It's like new. It's been sitting in the corner, unused, collecting dust. I hope I made a good purchase. Why is it collecting dust? Let me see. Okay. I literally bought it off market this afternoon. Well, what do you mean? You're saying collecting dust. You just got it this afternoon. Okay? Turn that sucker on tomorrow. Play with it. Don't let it collect dust. It probably, maybe you meant that the owner collected the dust. They probably bought that machine, didn't know how to work it or anything like that, and then they collected the dust. But you know what? Take their dust away, turn that sucker on tomorrow, and have fun with it. Okay? Have fun with it. And that's another thing too. You can get embroidery machines a lot in the prices a lot lower if you would go and buy the used ones, okay, and stuff. You don't have to buy a new one and stuff. So, but enjoy your machine, Roxanne. Enjoy it. Bernardino says she's passing out candy while watching. It's cold. In Virginia, it's 50 and it feels like 35. It's pretty cold here too. When I was walking Mello, I was out there with my coat and he had his sweater on. So yeah, we were out there today. But congratulations, Roxanne. Yes, congratulations on that machine. Betty said, yes, bought us. Yes. Oh, Betty, I'm with you on that one. Oh my God. Betty says she bought a Sawgrass 500. Me too. Found out the ink is so very expensive. I know. Big regret. And I regret it too, Betty. I'm going to be honest with you. I do. I regret my Sawgrass 500. And I got that machine at a discount because I had like points and stuff. So they put the points towards the purchase of the price. But that ink is so expensive that I have huge regret. It was one of the reasons why I'm not doing sublimation anymore. And every time I look at that machine, it's like I just want to throw it out. Right now it has a red dot because I'm sure the machine, the ink's probably dried up on it by now and stuff. But sublimation was not my thing. It really isn't. I got a lot of ghosting and I don't like it because it's so unforgiving. It really is. I know there's some people out there that love doing it, but it's just not my thing. I think I need to stick with what I know, which is embroidery. Embroidery is my baby. That really is. It's really my thing. And that's what I need to stick with and stuff. Hey, Emma, how are you? Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Hey, Eleanor, how are you doing? Let's see. Hey, Donna. Finally made it live. I want to see your shirt. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, this is my shirt, Donna. Okay, so this is something that I saw on Facebook. It's so cute. It says, I'm not retired. And then this is me and Mello. Okay. And then it says, I'm a full-time dog mom. So, yeah. So, Mello has me working. I love this shirt. I thought it was so, so, so cute and stuff. So, I had to put me and Mello on there. The only thing is that I feel like this dog is really small. You know, it's a small dog. But, and Mello's pretty big. Mello's pretty big because my neighbor saw me walking him today. And, she says, I always see, it's the first time that she actually saw Mello in person. And when she saw me walking, she was like, oh my God, he's big, because she says, I guess, looking at the pictures of Mello, people sometimes think that he's a small dog, but he really is. He's a big boy. So he's 85 pounds. He's pretty huge. So she was kind of like shocked at how big he is and stuff. But yeah, I love my shirt. It's a new little shirt that I got. Thank you for the invite. Oh, you're welcome. Hey, Angela and Stitches, how you doing? Hey, Becky, how are you? How you doing? Donna said, I've been lucky. My machines like all threads. Hey, Debbie, how are you? I see Pearl. Yes, guys, if you like today's content, please give me a thumbs up and stuff. And please consider subscribing to the channel as well. Happy Halloween. Oh my God. We've had a lot of trick-or-treaters here and stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't do the candy this year and stuff. So everything's kind of like, my house is kind of dark and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of funny too, because trick-or-treating, I see these kids trick-or-treating, and I gotta tell you, me and Nancy did not get to do trick-or-treating because we grew up in the projects. So my mom was like, no, because in the projects, what the kids do is they knock on doors, right? And, go from floor to floor. And we had in our building, I think there were like 20 floors. And my mom was like, no, you can't trick or treat. So we never got to trick or treat. So, we watched all the other kids trick or treat. Mom didn't let us and stuff. And then in the summertime, she just shipped us over to Puerto Rico because she didn't want us in the street. So it's just like, but my son got to trick or treat. I got to do that with him and stuff. But I understand my mom. She was just, rough neighborhood. We were in a rough neighborhood and stuff. Let's see. And Debbie said, when I bought my first machine, I screwed up the wire for the automatic needle threader. I was shocked when I had to pay for it. Why didn't anyone show that when they showed the machine? Why didn't anyone show it when they showed the machines? Yeah. So yeah. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes. It's, yeah. It's like, ooh. Perfect example. Oh, there you go. My brother 1050 panel is freezing. Called the distributor and waiting for them to call me back. See, machines break down, guys. They do break down. And that's the other thing too. Another good question to ask these folks is, look at those machines, right? And ask them if it, Marlene's saying that her panel is freezing, right? My question would be, how much is it to replace one of those panels? What's the average cost of that, right? Try to, and how soon can you get those parts in and stuff like that? So you got to ask those questions and stuff. Iris said, it's like trying on shoes. You have to try them on and make sure they fit you. Absolutely. Yes. And you want a good comfortable pair, because sometimes the shoes look cute, and you may step on them for a little bit and think, oh, this is cute. But there have been times when I was working, that's back in the day when I first started, I used to wear them suits and I used to wear those little heels and stuff. And when I had to go work and walk from one side of the building to the other, trust me, after like the second time walking back, boy, my feet were barking. I mean, it was like, oh, no. So it's like, you want to make sure you get the right shoes. Absolutely. Hey, Emma, it's almost 6 p.m. Have lots of candy. Hopefully we'll get some kids. Everybody's almost with the trick-or-treating. Everybody's putting the bowls outside, and the teenagers come by, have leftover. Some teenagers take the whole bowl, I tell you. Bernardino's going through those candies. Okay. Speaking of quilts, have you finished yours? This you asked Let me go show you. I'll be right back. I want to show you, Iris. It came out really nice. All right, guys. You guys are asking about Carlito's quilt. So let me show you guys. I finished the quilt top, but this is what happened. I had to go back to Missouri Star and order more fabric for the backing. I need to get 3 more yards because this ended up being a little bit bigger. But yes, let me open it up and show you what it looks like. I may not be able to get the whole thing on camera, but let me give you guys the top. And I gotta tell you, if it wasn't for my neighbor, I would not be doing this, but she got me into this, and I gotta tell you, I'm really enjoying this. So I'm gonna hold it up. As you can see, I have been putting the borders on and stuff, and it all coming out really nicely all the way around. So this is what it's looking like, and no 2 diamonds are the same. So this is what it looks like, guys. So Carlito has seen it. He likes it a lot. You know, and what it is now I have to sandwich it. I have to do like the batting, and then I have to do the back. Now, what I want to do is, let me I'll fold it later. Well, you know what? Let me fold it now, because then it's gonna bother me that I didn't fold it, because you guys know I'm a neat freak. I'm just one of those people. I like things to be neat. So as you can see, look how beautiful. This is beautiful. Oh my God. He really likes it, which I'm really happy that he likes it, because I wanted to give him something, you know. So this is the top. Okay, there you go. Nice and neat. See, I like everything to be neat. So yeah, so I'm debating, okay, because okay, I got this. Now I have to sandwich it. I have to put the batting, and then I have to do the back. And I got 3 yards of the back, but I had to order 3 more yards. Okay, so once that comes in, then I got to put them together. You know, I got to sew the 6 yards together, so that way I have the back and the batting. Now, one of the things that I'm debating on is how I'm going to quilt it. Now, my neighbor offered for me to use her long arm, but I don't want to do that, because I want to do this myself. I really do. It means a lot to me that I get to do this by myself. So I don't want to do a long arm. I actually want to do the quilting myself. So I can do it one of 2 ways. Okay. I purchased this, which is the mesh frame for the embroidery machines that I have. So I can use this so that I can do the quilting on it. But I also watched Susie from the quilt shop, the owner of the quilt shop. Someone had gave her a table runner, and she took the table runner and then she put on her quilting gloves, and all she did was she started doing free motion quilting. And I was watching her do that, and I was like, oh my God, that looks so neat. And I have my Juki machine, right? And I can put down the feed dogs, and I can do free motion quilting. So now what I'm thinking of doing is to do the free motion quilting using my Juki machine myself, and then just use this for when I go to quilt, like, do quilting on like something small, like maybe a wall hanging quilt or something like that. So yeah, so I'm gonna see what happens. What I'll do is I will I'll wait till, at first I have to wait because I ordered the jelly roll, because as you can see, the edging for this quilt is in white, right? This is, see, this is the, I guess you can't see. Let me show you guys. See, this is the edge right now is white. So what I want to do is the binding, I want to do it in black. So I ordered the jelly rolls in black, and then I ordered the 3 yards of the backing fabric, right? So when those items come in, that's when I can go ahead and continue working on this. So because I'm kind of like on a hold for this, I was like, okay, fine. I do want to work on a library quilt for a friend of mine. So today I did my first quilt block, which is this one. Isn't that cute? So this is the shelf, and then here are the books. And then here I put DVCC, which is Dominion Valley Country Club Book Club. So, and then I put Hamlet, I put Dreams, and, you know, I just gonna make the squares. And then I figured I'll take the squares and then I'll sew them together, and then I'll put the batting, and then I'll bind it and all that stuff. And I want to gift this to a good friend of mine, because I will tell you this, my neighbor, me and her were talking, right? And one of the things that, well, I knew quilting was a lot of work, but I have to be honest with you, until I went to her house and she did a king size bed quilt. But what she was doing was on her long arm, and she's got the long arm with the computer. To quilt that took 8 hours, guys, 8 hours. And I was like, all I kept thinking was, first of all, I was fascinated because I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of work, and it was beautiful. It came out beautiful. But what went through my mind was, this is a lot of freaking work, right? So when I have so much respect now for those folks that do quilting, because of the cutting, the measuring, the sewing, you know, the all the stuff, all the steps and the time and effort that it takes to make that to me, I look at it now as, that's not just something that you give away, you know, to anybody. I mean, so, and I'm doing this now, and this block alone took me 45 minutes because I had to design it, plan it, and then you know, I had to do the customization, okay, of it. You know, putting the book club name on it and all that kind of stuff. A lot of this was customized, picking out the right fabric that I wanted and all that stuff, cutting it out and all that. Because this is applique. Let me give you a closer look so you can see. This is applique. Okay. And the thing is, I have to probably make several of these, okay? And if each one of these take 45 minutes, then you can just imagine. And then once I have all the blocks together, then I have to sew it. Then I have to put the batting and the backing. Then I have to bind it. I don't want to just give this to anybody. I really don't, you know? So I'm going to actually give this to a friend of mine that's in the book club that really means a lot to me. And she means a lot to me because I'll never forget it. It's like one birthday, she invited me over to her house, and she just had a birthday cake for me. So it's like, you know, you want to gift, to me, getting a quilt like that from someone, it's very sentimental and very personal because of the amount of work that it takes. So this is going to be a lot of work, and I have no problem doing this for her. So I want to gift this to her. So I'm not going to put it in that, they usually have like a gift exchange, and then, like, you know, it's like everybody steals gifts and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I mean, it's a great group and all that kind of stuff, but she's the one that always calls me and, you know, stays in contact with me. So I have a special connection with her, or I feel that way, you know, feel like me and her have a friendship. So I want to give it to her. I want to make sure it goes to her, not just anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So anyway, But yeah, so Iris, thanks for asking about the quilt. I'm excited about it. I think it came out really good. I will tell you something too about the quilt. um Carol was telling me about, you got to measure. There's a lot of measuring that goes involved. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't measure the way I was supposed to measure, so there's a lot of mistakes in that quilt, but I think it came out awesome, and it's okay. I'm okay with it. And what's important to me is that I wanted to give something to my son that I made with my own hands. So that's why it was so important that I don't want I want to make it. That's why it's so important that I make the whole quilt myself, because it's something I want to gift my son, so that he could have that and remember me by. Not that I'm going anywhere, or I plan on not going anywhere, but we all go sometime, but I want him to have something, from mom and stuff. So yeah. Calling it quits, getting too cold. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My Melco comes with a stand, and I put it on gym squares to muffle it. Okay. I was lucky. Got the stand, the hoop, the machine hoop stabilizer, hat driver, secondhand from a dealer. Yep. Curious about your machines. If you have local maintenance or tension issues. I don't have any tension issues. Sandal Dollar Stitcher. I do have local maintenance. I actually have someone that comes to my house and maintains my machines for me. I hire someone that comes, and also with tension issues, I don't care what machine you have, all machines are going to eventually have tension issues. Okay. The thing is, you have to know how to correct them. I actually know how to fix tension issues. So when my machine's tensions are a little off, because sometimes it's not just the top of the machine, it could also be your bobbin case or something like that. I know how to fix all those issues. So whenever, I always not only just do the maintenance on my machines on a regular basis, I also always test my tension. I always run a tension test on all my machines at least once a month to make sure that nothing is off. And if it is, I correct it at that time, and then I just keep it going. So yeah. Let's see. Thinking of purchasing the newest. Would love anyone's thoughts. If you purchase it, what I recommend you do is make sure that you take a lot of things in consideration, like support and all that kind of stuff and everything, and stuff. So, and don't just, I know you're thinking of purchasing that one, but don't discard the other brands either. I mean, they're just as good and stuff. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? Sorry, Expo is beautiful. And that's another thing too. Debbie brings out a good point. Sand Dollar Stitcher, sometimes they have these expos and stuff like that. Take a look at it. Take a look at it there. Ask if you could play with it there and stuff. But what I would really do is see if you could reach out to someone that actually owns it, but have owned it for a couple of years, and see. Like, I know they've probably got new versions of the machines and all that kind of stuff, but my whole thing is you want to know about the quality of the other machines as well. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you could have some machines that, and I don't know anything about those machines. I don't own one. Okay. But I'm just things for you to think about, to consider, like how, are the parts cheap? Do they feel cheap and stuff like that? Take a real good look at that machine, and ask yourself also, like, let's say a part broke on that machine. How hard would it be for you to get a replacement of that part? And remember, you might be buying a new machine today, but that machine that you buy today is going to be old 5 years from now. Okay. So how hard is it going to be for you to get parts for a machine as it ages? Right. Because that's the other thing too. Right. Because usually when you got the newest and greatest model, it's awesome for that year. But as time goes on, the model that you purchase starts to age. And as it starts to age, will you be able to get parts? Because it's the same thing. And this is an issue that all brands have, right? So what you want to do is you just want to make sure that it's a brand that's going to be supported. And if they offer that, some people say, oh, you get free support or whatever. Well, how long is that free support for? And then when that support ends, what's the cost of that support? Okay. Like, I think if I remember correctly, I know Crafty Puerto Rican has the Racoma, and I think they offer a lifetime support for the time that you own the machine, right? I don't know if Melco offers that. I know Brother doesn't, but there's a warranty, but you're just going to make sure of all that stuff and everything, so you gotta make sure that you just do your homework and stuff. Okay. I don't mean to scare you, please don't think that. It's just, I want you to make sure you do, that you get what's good for you. They're all given away. I do. Okay. Debbie says, I do my own maintenance. I had a tech issue and they helped me on the phone. Oh, that's good. It was my computer. It was too old. Oh, I got a new used computer and it works great. Okay, there you go. So that's a positive, because I think that's awesome that Debbie was actually able to just call and get the support that she needed. They were able to help her resolve it too. That to me is important. That's awesome. Let's see. And my Melco trainer came and teach me and answered questions that I have. There you go. There you go. Yeah, and also look at that too, and join those Facebook groups, guys, and stuff, because let me see. If you don't have time to research, then you don't have time to use the machine. Debbie, I agree with you. Yeah. It's often a using error when there's a problem. And I have seen that as well. Yes. And I look in the mirror and see a case in point. It was me for my first. And you know what Debbie is saying right now, it's true. And that's why I say sometimes when people complain about the machines and stuff, I don't want to say don't believe them, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes it is user error. Okay. Sometimes a person doesn't like the machine because they just didn't understand the machine. They didn't know how to use it and stuff like that. And it could be that they didn't reach, like Debbie, she got on the phone with the tech support and they were able to help her and figure it out. Sometimes you don't know if the person did that or not. They may never have called the company and say, hey, I'm having a problem with the machine, and even gave them an opportunity to fix it. And then yet they go and they badmouth it, right? So you don't know that, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, it's you want to know how people think, but at the same time, you want to actually think to yourself, you know what I mean? Like, is it true? Or, it's just their experience, so you want to balance it. You want to listen to both sides, and you want to make sure that you're making the best decision for yourself, Hey, Berman, how you doing? And Debbie said, overbuying is just a system of shiny object syndrome. It's true. And you know what? And a lot of people have that issue too. Like, I know people that they buy cars like every 1 or 2 years because they just got to have the latest and the greatest. Meanwhile, there was nothing wrong with the car they had before. I am totally on the opposite end. I buy a car and I will drive that car till the wheels fall off and the mechanic is like, please, Jeanette, just buy another car. It's like, because to me, it's the same with embroidery machines too, guys. Okay. As soon as you drive the car off the lot, you lose 20% of the value of the car. Embroidery machines are the kind of the same way. The more you stitch, the more mileage you're putting on that machine. Okay. The more mileage on that machine, the less valuable that machine is on the market. So, you can't just spend You're not going to spend $15,000 on a new machine and then use the heck out of it. And then you go and say, okay, I'm going to sell it now and I'm going to get my $15,000 back. It doesn't usually work that way. You know what I'm saying? So, because I know when I look at used machines, the first question I have is, how much time does it have? Like, you know, how many stitches and stuff like that? When did you buy it? How long did you buy it? How well have you maintained it? You know, and who's the person that has maintained your machine? You know, because I want to talk to them, because I want to ask that person did they do regular maintenance on that machine, or did they do it once in a while or whatever? And I want to see it stitch out, you know, and stuff. So there's a lot of things, you know. Do the research. You do. There's just so many, and there's so many different options out there, guys. There really is. You just want to make sure that you're getting the best one for you. I have a Brother single needle and a Rainbow 12. Bob's, you're here. Okay, I could use a 10 needle, but I mostly sell patches with 2 colors. I really want to save up for a machine with a 16 by 32 hoop. Yeah, see, it all depends on what you need. It really does. It's cheaper to get a 6 needle for faster production. Yeah. Hey, ATB Marketing, how are you? How you doing? I found my 12 needle on Alibaba from a merchant for less than $4,000, including shipping. Oh, you took a chance. I'm glad it worked out for you. And so I've seen those machines and stuff, but I just don't know, you know, it's like, I'm like, okay, you know, no ad ever says buy our piece of that's true, Debbie. That is so true. They never ever say that. It's always the most wonderful thing. That's why I always say you gotta make sure you know what you're buying. I'm telling you, they're like sharks, because all they want is your money. And this is the other thing, guys. They will treat you like you're gold because they haven't gotten your money yet. Once they cash your check, I don't know, it could be different. It could be different. I'm just saying. Remember, they got your money already. They don't owe you nothing. Okay, so you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Berman said, yeah, it included the hat attachment. Oh, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, a lot of brands. But can you service, repair, and replace the parts? Yeah. And that is, to me, what is truly important, because I actually use it as a business. It's not a hobby for me. It's actually a business. And because I have so much orders and I do have to get these orders out, I don't have time for downtime, right? So I have to make sure that I have machines that I can keep them functioning. But you are correct, because there are some machines that it's really hard to get replacement parts. So you want to make sure that you look into that and stuff. Hey, Allison, how you doing? Happy Friday. Yes, someone recently advised me to look at the people that use the machines on a regular everyday basis. This was in a CNC laser engraver 3D printer live, but can apply to any equipment. Totally agree. Yes. You want, you want someone that uses the machine on a constant basis, because that will tell you if that machine is a workhorse or not, and that it can handle the workload and stuff. Yeah, guys, if you like today's topic, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. My dealer works on all brands, including the vintage machines, and he's been around for years. Hopefully he stays living for years. Because I tell you, the one thing that always concerns me is what happens if my technician goes away? Will I be able to find another one? Which is one of the reasons why my goal is for next year I want to, and I'm saving as much money as I can. And I'm hoping that I can make it happen, but I actually want to go to a school where I can learn how to repair embroidery machines, take them apart, put them together, and all that kind of stuff. So that way I can repair my machines on the spot. Because, like I said, my machines are getting older. Okay. They age just like all of us. We all age, and things start to break down. So I want to make sure that I can fix them as soon as they break down and stuff. So, yeah. Ching Chang want that money tree. Even the trees made money don't grow currency. You got that right. And Brilliance is excellent. I have Premiere Plus 2 and it's impossible. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Yeah, embroidery software can be pretty tricky. So you want to make sure that you get what you understand. And Renee said, I bought a used Baby Lock Alliance and I love it. I will look into a 6 needle next year. I want to ensure my skills. I appreciate Nazi's videos. You make them really informative. Oh, thank you, Renee. I'm glad you like it. Hey, Miss Shirley, how are you? How you doing? Hey, Peggy, how are you? Let's see. Make sure there are repair people close by that have permission to repair and not void the warranty. Very good catch. Very, very good catch, Bernardino. That is true. Okay, because you want to make sure that they are certified to work on your machines and stuff. Very good catch, because a lot of times what will happen is if you have someone else touch them and you were under the warranty, you should always go through the company, because if not, if you voided that warranty, you are on your own. You really are. Thank you so much. I wish I would have seen this video before I bought my 7 needle machine. No support or videos online. I'm virtually teaching myself. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there like that. And then, what's funny too, because my neighbor, she was talking to me about her long arm, and she said, she literally had to teach herself how to use that long arm. Her and her friend, were trying to figure it out together and stuff. So, sometimes that's what happens, and stuff. That's why it's like, and you spend so much money. That's the thing. So you want to make sure that you understand your machine and stuff. But Deborah, I know that you're focused and you're going to figure it out. I know you're going to get that machine rocking. Okay. Boss says, I wish the new Brother machines have digital tops like a lot of other multi-needle brands that are starting to offer. Yeah. Yeah, well, supposedly the 10 needle is supposed to be a little bit better on the tension and stuff, but I got to be honest with you, because I guess, I know how to set my tensions, that doesn't bother me. I'm good with my machines. So it's like, if I, and I always do testing of tension, and I know how to fix it and stuff. So but for someone who doesn't, that would definitely be a plus for them. That is for sure. The uniform, plug. Hey, lady, I own a uniform. What in Brilliance for beginners do you suggest? For in Brilliance program, you should always start with essentials. That is like the first module. And then from there, I would build. From there. That's what I would do. But essentials is where you want to start. Okay. With all the crazy bonuses that they give away with multi-needle machines, makes you wonder what the distributor's break-even price is. It's true. That is true. I always try, and this is the other thing too. Sometimes it's seasonal, right? Like I know with Brother, there's a particular time per year where it's like all of a sudden they have all these discounts and stuff like that, And this is the other thing too. Now with the way things are going with the economy and stuff like that, I don't know what kind of a good of a deal we can now get. Because I know, like I said, with the Brother, with the brand new one, I don't feel like you're getting that great of a deal now. Like I got the bed and I got the hat frame and stuff like that. I'm not sure if you still get that stuff. I think you just get a tubular hoop, the tubular hoop, um, and the machine. And I don't even know if they're throwing in the stand. I know that now the flatbed is not an option. I don't believe the hat frame is an option either. And I don't think they're giving away any dookie frames or anything like that. And those frames are really useful. Those are things that you can really use. So, I don't know. So to me, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like, brother kind of like, I don't know. They're good machines, or I like the ones that I got. I'm pretty happy with mine. My whole thing is if I bought another brother, it would probably be a used one. It probably won't be a new one, because I don't think you're getting the best bang for your buck right now, but I don't know how the other brands are with their pricing. I don't know if they're offering something that's just as good or bad or whatever, so I'm not sure. Hey Berliff, how you doing? Let's see. Yeah, but you want to buy the essentials. You want to start with essentials. Debbie, like, and Brilliance has modules. So each of the modules has its own functions and stuff. But what you want to do is you also want to start with essentials. Essentials is kind of like the frame of the house, and then you buy what you need from there. Let's see. I embroider everything for nurses, t-shirts. Yeah, so what I would do, for what you need it for, essentials, because it looks like you're probably just embroidering the names, and stuff like that. Essentials is what you really need and stuff. The block is cool. Thank you. Yeah, and this took a long time for me to figure it out, so because there's a lot of stopping and starting of the embroidery machine. But let's see. But what do you need to do in the embroidery software? What machines do you have? Are you just looking to load, emergency, create? Yep. Okay. I always thought it was funny that people ask you what brand to buy. You're clearly sitting in a room with 100K of exclusive. Bob, yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. I mean, it's kind of like, so, but it could be too that maybe they don't see the thing. But if you look at all my videos, you do know that I have brothers. And I like the machines. It works for me. It really does. The machine works for me. For what I need, it's good. I have actually looked at other brands also, because I was thinking, if I was to replace my brother, honestly, for what I need, it would probably be something like the one that starts with the T. I think it's Tajima. But the thing is, those are $30,000 a machine. The same thing with the Happy. The Happy is another brand that I kind of like, and that's $30,000 per machine. So the reason is, these machines seem to work just fine for what I need. All my embroidery always comes out looking really, really nice. My customers are really happy with the outcome. I understand them. I really like the functionality of them because I do use it, especially the camera, the scanning, the snowman, and all that stuff. So, yeah, but it works for me. Yeah, it really does. Yep, Amazon is now having multi-needle machines on there. Yeah. But like I said, just do your homework and stuff. Let's see. Hey, Francisca. Good night, everyone. Jeanette, I would like to know how to embroider baby cotton blankets, but it looks like and embroidery material. I have several videos on there where I've embroidered baby blankets on the channel. Teacher, thank you. Yeah, so and so. I just subscribed and have thumbs up. Oh, thank you, so and so. I appreciate it. I'm going down the thing. Welcome, so and so. Also, welcome to the family. And Bob says sometimes panel issues could be loose wire internally once since it's vibrating so much. Yeah. And you know, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I see these machines named Broader, right? And the I see the panel shake. And that is one of the things that does go through my mind. I go, doesn't the wires doesn't that like mess up the wires or anything like that with that thing shaking like that? Which is why at one time, I remember Melco, they have all their machines and it's like you had the computer separate on the machine. And I was thinking to myself, well, maybe that's why they do it that way. But now that I notice, it's like now they're actually building the new machines with the computer on the machine. So because, and I will say that is one thing that to me was a drawback with the Melco was I'm an Apple person. I don't do Windows. So I think those machines run only on Windows. So, people actually had to invest money on a laptop just to run those machines. And I was like, that's not going to work for me. And that's one of the things that I do like. The other thing also is that some people ask me, and I got questioned once and they were like, well, have you thought about getting a multi-head embroidery machine? I prefer single head. Multi-head machines do not run individual projects, right? Those are good if you want to do bulk orders of all the same. Sometimes I have multiple bulk orders of different items, right? So, what I kind of like about single heads is that I can set it up. I can have one machine work on one project, the other machine work on another one, another machine work on another one. Or I can set up all the machines to work on the same design and stuff. So I prefer the single than a multi-head and stuff. So yeah, that's another type of embroidery machine that some people buy and stuff. Yeah. But oh well. And Debbie chose the Melco because it uses computers. Software is always changing. Machines should last years and years. And she prefers to have the computer off of the machine. See, so it's like I said, you have to find what works for you, right? Like for me, having a laptop off of the machine, it's not working. But for Debbie, she loves it. It works for her. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always say you don't get what other people are using just because people using it. You have to look at yourself and find out what your needs are and what's going to work for you, because and it's not that her machine or my machine is one better than the other. It's just that you need to be able to find a machine that you're going to be comfortable with, because you're going to be working a lot on this. So hey Spools Long, how are you? How you doing? Let's see. You did great. Oh, thank you. Nice sewing, Jeanette. Oh, thanks. Well, I will tell you, I measured the top and the bottom of the quilt. They're kind of like different sizes. So I know I kind of screwed up a little bit in there, but that's okay. It's my first quilt. It is. Roll up your quilt with a poodle noodle to quilt it. Oh, I'm gonna have to Google that and find out what that is. I never heard of that. And so it looks like everybody's liking the quilt. Love the black and white. Yep, that was Cardito, my son, because I asked him, I said, what color do you want your quilt to be? He said he wants black and white. So I just went on Missouri Star and I looked at 10-inch squares that were black and white. I found this one. It's from Robert Hartman. And I was like, oh, that's a cute design. So I'm working on that one. So everybody likes the hey pretty eyes, how you doing? Let's see, I'm going down, see Carlito will cherish it. Yeah, that's what I was Debbie said, just finished 21 blocks for the Busy Bee table runner. I can't just give it to anybody. See, and Debbie, that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling some kind of way. I don't know. It's just how I feel. It's really funny because you don't realize that until you actually do it yourself. And when you do it yourself and you find out all the work, absolutely, you don't just give this to anybody. No way. You just don't. It's like, So, I mean, to me, it took me like 45 minutes just to do this, just to do one. And I have to do a whole bunch, right? And then I have to sew them together, bind them and everything. This is a lot of work. So I want to give it to somebody that's special to me, that I appreciate and I really care about and stuff, because I know that they appreciate and care about me. So, you're right. You just don't give it to anybody. You really don't, Hey, baby, make stuff. You're so talented. The clothes one. Oh, thank you. Hello from Dallas. Hi. Trying to seek my long arm. I've used about 5 hours. I'm telling. I went to my neighbor's house. I got to her house, I think about 1:15, and we didn't leave out of there till 8:30. I was like, oh my God. And all she did was quilt it on the long arm. We're not even talking about the amount of time it took for her to quilt the top, set up the machine, take it off of the machine, and then bind it. Okay? We're not even talking that. So, I mean, I was just like, it's a lot of work. I got a lot of respect for folks that do these amazing quilts. I mean, oh my God. When you jump into something, you show real skills. Yep. It's hard for me to use. I'm quilting with my Bernina 990. Oh, hey, Fran, how are you? Sorry, late. Bought the software today to upgrade from PE design 10 to 11. Took me years to finally do it. And I don't use that. A lot of people ask me about that, but I think that runs on a Windows, and I have not used that at all. And she says she has the Brother PR650. It's about 12 years old, but it still stitches great. I was thinking about buying a Moco. Let's see. It's a great idea. Learn to do it yourself. Yeah, I think I want to, do that. After you pay for a machine or a car, they will not respect you in the morning. It's true. And Cracky Puerto Rican said, I got the Brothers Cellular 2. Recently got it. I'm in love with it. There are a lot of new features to learn. My husband put together a sturdier table for it today. Oh my God. Yes, she got her. I'm jelly. I'm jelly. Because I saw it at Susie's Quilt Shop. Now, right now I have a Brother 1900. I have toyed with the idea of upgrading to a bigger single needle. But because I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have loved to have been able to do this on a single needle machine. I did this on my multi-needle machine. So, I'm like, it's the same thing. So it's like, I keep going back and forth. It's like, Jeanette, do you really need another flatbed machine? Why can't you just use what you got? You got the multi-needles. Multi-needles have the big hoops. So I'm like, I keep going back and forth. Get it, don't get it, get it, don't get it. I don't know and stuff. But yeah, but I just love my snowman feature and stuff. But I don't know what I'm gonna do. I really don't. I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with what I got. I think I should just stick. If I invest, it has to probably be another multi-wheel machine, because that's where all the bread's at right now for me. Let's see. Oh, okay. And then ABC, also be careful when a deal is too good to be good. They may be wanting to get rid of their old stock to make room for new models coming up next year. Very, very, very true. Very true. And yeah, very true. And sometimes they could be selling refurnished stuff and all that good stuff. So, my girlfriend went on Alibaba and the seller asked to go off platform for a better price. She spent 8,000 and got nothing. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, I refuse to deal with that merchant if they insist on going off platform. Yeah, that's horrible. $8,000 off the window. Oh, wow. I hope that she's able to get her machine back. Yeah. Happy Japan. Yeah, I kind of like those machines. I like the Japan machines and the Taishi, I think it's called Tashima machines and stuff. Those are the ones that I like. Yeah. All machines, yeah. I mean, Fran, machines cost money. None of them are cheap at all. None of them are cheap. I rarely use Amazon, Alibaba, Tebow, but when I do order from them, it's never anything over 100. They don't work for me at all. Oh my goodness. Man, love it because it's metal, made in USA, separate computer, controls multiple machines. Poodle noodle. And then yeah, I've given too many people special gifts and they don't appreciate it. Same here, Bob. The same. Because they don't, it's like that's one of the reasons why I like doing the gift exchange, guys, because the thing is because it's what we do, right? We like to embroider and all that kind of stuff. When we do the gift exchange and we actually make something and give it to somebody and then we receive a gift that somebody made for us, I feel like those gifts are so much more appreciated because we know the amount of effort that it took for that person to actually make that bag, that wallet, that kitchen towel, that patch, whatever, right? We know and stuff. And unfortunately, what happens is a lot of people don't realize it. They kind of figure, oh, you made a quilt for me. Well, I could go to Walmart and get a quilt $50. Well, yeah, you can do that, but they weren't made by my hands. You know what I'm saying? And the effort. And sometimes I even feel like when you buy a quilt from Walmart or whatever, you may have bought a quilt for $50, but it's not the same quality. It really isn't, because sometimes, I know like with this quilt that I'm making right now for Cardito, that's not cheap fabric. That is not cheap fabric that I bought. This is not Walmart fabric. That's for sure. Okay. Spent a pretty penny on this quilt. Okay. And I'm still spending more money because today I had to buy more fabric for the backing. And then I had to buy the banding, for the the edging. Right. So, I mean, it costs money. It really does. It costs a lot of money. Let's see. And Fred said, I do feel comfortable in brother machines and the P software. Have the Stellaris also, and I'm probably going to stick with brother. Yeah, you just gotta you know, like I said, you just gotta do what's right for you, you know, and stuff. Oh, and they said they're replacing it with the Brother P Embroidery Studio. 3,200. Okay, see, that's why I'll stick with embroids. You know, and that's the other thing too. Everything costs money. You upgrade the software, you know you're comfortable with Brother. Check the Brother multi-needle machine if it makes sense to you. Hey, Miss Miller, good night. Oh, make sure, yes, I plan on doing that, Debbie. I was thinking of embroidering a little special message to Cardito and putting, you know, my name, you know, love mom, and then put 2025. And then I want to sew it on the back of the quilt, you know, so that, you know, I want to do like a little something special. I want to say something special to Cardito, so that way it means a lot more to him when I do it, stuff like that. So yeah. All right, guys, I am at the end of the comments and stuff. So I am going to call it the night. Woo, it's 10:11. So yeah, 2 hours. Okay, cool. So this is good. All right, cool. So I'm going to call it the night. And this time I'm actually going to hang up. I'm not going to do like last time. Oh my God. You know, I had to edit that out. I didn't realize what happened. So those of you that stuck around know what happened. If you didn't stick around and you don't know what happened, well, then that's good. You don't know what happened. So we're going to keep it between us. All right. But this time my computer's working okay. All right. So I'm actually going to end the stream like I'm supposed to end the stream. And I'm going to call it the night. And I will see you guys next Friday night. All right. So guys, take care. Have a good one. Have fun. That was funny when you went black and came back. Girl. I was like, what the heck? My sister called me. She said, you need to watch the end. Then when I watched it, I said, ooh. I didn't realize that. But at least everybody got a laugh. Whatever. Okay. So that was another one for the books. What can I say? So guys, have a good night. Have fun with your embroidery machine. Have fun with your sewing machines. And like I said, if you guys are out there in the market and stuff, I didn't mean to scare anybody or anything like that. And I'm not saying that one brand is better than the other and stuff like that. I just want you guys to get a machine that you know you're going to be happy that you're going to be happy with. Okay. So, you know, because we do this not only because some of us do this because we want to earn some extra income, but we do this for fun. We really do. And, you know, half of the fun is enjoying the machine that you're doing the work on. So what's really important to me is that you guys get the machine to make it easier for you guys and really enjoy the process. So guys, I will talk to you guys later. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I will talk to you guys. Happy Halloween, everyone. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys next Friday. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.